Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly.
The Arch thing, it's a problem.
It feels like this season is as wide open as any season I can remember.
This is my 31st year as a coach, and this is the closest team I've ever been around.
Here's a hot take for you. People want hot takes.
Do we know that Indiana's actually any good?
I'm prepared to be wrong, Sammy, and have Illinois fans yell at me. It's okay.
They're betting Indiana like they have Sunday's paper. Why don't you take this one? Go ahead, big guy.
How much John Mateer can your offense be?
I'm having a hard time with this one.
This game's going to be ugly. You're going to see punts before points.
They did not profile like a 10-win team. They profiled like 7-win type teams. I can't wait to let 18 to 22-year-olds emotionally ruin me.
I made a call, to Vegas. I said, look, we actually need the favor here.
Welcome to Bear Bets, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is the best place to bet touchdowns this season. And this week, new customers who bet $5 get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DK Sportsbook app. Use the promo code BEARBETS. That's BEARBETS, 2 words, when you sign up. DK Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Back again for another week. College football season is here. September is rapidly closing. Bear Chris Felica, Jeff Schwartz, Sammy P. And it feels like this season is as wide open as any season I can remember. We talked about it before the year about the number of teams receiving first place votes. And even now, kind of when I do my unofficial power rankings and how I would rank teams, seems like there's very little difference, Sammy, between team 1 and team 7 or 8.
My top 5 teams are separated by 3.5 points. And I think you could ask 3 legit questions and get 3 different answers. Who's the best team? Who's the number 1 rated team? Who are you betting to win the title? I think we could have 3 different conversations, but let me just give you the numbers. I have finally bit the bait, and I've moved Penn State off line 1. I know, Bear. I know. I understand. I still don't think they care. I don't think they've shown you anything, and we'll find out. But I have Ohio State on line 1 at 124.5. Penn State on line 2, slightly under. I've moved Oregon up to 3. So the top 3 teams in the country are in the Big Ten.
Did you do that because of Jeff?
I did, yes.
Good.
He threatened me
I did.
in the hallway.
Him, yeah.
Number 4, this is going to get people enraged on the internet. Vegas guys tell me they could be either 2 or 3. I just don't see it with Texas. I moved them to 4, and then finally Miami on line 5.
Yeah, the Texas thing is interesting because all the problems that they've had, they still could have gone to Columbus and won that game very easily. So it's interesting. You one team that I see you don't have a team there is Georgia. That was a massive win last week at Neyland Stadium, but I almost came away with more questions about Georgia than answers. Maybe I was hoodwinked by their defense. Their defense looked really good against nobody, but in the back 7, they had a ton of problems, and they're going to face better quarterbacks as the season goes on and better wide receivers. I mean, after the Idle week this week, they got Alabama coming to town next week, and Simpson has certainly looked better the last couple of weeks, and Ryan Williams is now healthy. So I don't think Georgia will miss the playoffs because getting that win means they're going to have to lose 3 games, and they get Texas and Alabama at home. Are they going to lose both of those and somewhere else? I don't know, but I felt a lot better, I think, about Georgia overall before that game, even though it's kind of unfair to say because the offense and Gunnar Stockton answered every question imaginable.
I think for me with Georgia, the resilience to win that game is pretty impressive. You get down early after all the talk for years about Tennessee not being able to generate explosive plays, and they did. Bing, bang, boom, and you just fought. You're on the road. You stuck it out. And I think Gunnar Stockton answered a lot of questions. Your point about defensively, I think we'll be fine with Kirby Smart figuring out. The one team we're going to see this weekend on Big New Kickoff is Utah. They dominated early against UCLA, but the Bruins stink. They beat someone else, I think Cal Poly, and then struggled against Wyoming, a game that we already touched on. Bear, can they generate explosive plays on offense? The question we've had for years with Utah, if they can't do that, they're not going to be as good as I think they can be. we'll see this weekend against Texas Tech if they could be that team who does finally show a little bit of life in the passing game.
An early look ahead to next week, Penn State, Oregon. We're really going to learn a lot about both of these teams. Early look ahead number there, Penn State -4. And what do you think they're going to bet? They're going to probably take the quack.
They're going to do. I was going to say they'll bet Oregon.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
They will. They'll bet the points. They will.
What do we think? Alabama, Georgia. Georgia 6.5.
Where's it at?
It's in Athens.
Yeah, 6.5. That seems right.
Guessing lines with Sammy P. We love it. That's why we have him here.
Well, when we come back, Bear had a chance to sit down with Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire. We'll listen to that next.
And as promised, head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Joey McGuire here, one of 3 ranked matchups this week. Number 17, Texas Tech at number 16, Utah. Big Noon Kickoff will be there. I will be headed out there. Coach, we'll see you out there. So I appreciate you so much for joining us today. Still early in the season. You guys are undefeated, really untested. Is there something about your team that has even surprised you? Like you knew going into the year you were going to be good here, but it's even exceeded your expectation?
Yeah, I thought we were going to be really good up front. I did not realize, just the depth that we're going to be able to push to the quarterback. And then I do feel like our quarterback is playing at a really high level. A lot of people are not talking about him, but he likes that way. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, we saw that this week. Like you mentioned that, and we've seen that with a bunch of guys like Baker Mayfield, of course, had that little chip on his shoulder in the past as well, not being a walk-on and such. Like he's had an injury-riddled career. He hasn't fully been healthy. What's really clicked for him this year?
I think being a vet and understanding, he's got a great opportunity. We've surrounded him with some really good players. He's all in. He's a real tough kid. But I think, like all vets, they see that this is the window's closing. And I think he's really matured and focused on what he needs to get better. And then at the end of the day, he's healthy. He's got so much talent, but like you said, he's been banged up, 2 years ago, last year, and now he's finally healthy and he's feeling good.
Now, you mentioned a lot of good players, and you certainly have a lot of good players, and your program and Cody Campbell and the collective out there who's really been kind of the poster child for embracing this NIL era and bringing in players to make your program as good as it possibly can be. What are the keys? Like, how do you go about so many new parts, all these new ingredients? You have an early season test. What have been like the keys to really getting everybody on the same page so quickly and getting them to gel? Because that's the one negative about not having a ton of carryover. You bring in all these new parts and it's like, is it really going to work? And so far it has.
The first staff meeting we had when we completed the roster, I said, hey, look, don't worry about the X's and O's from the standpoint of they're going to take care of themselves. That's what coaches love to do anyway. I said, man, get your room as close as possible. Help me get this team as close as possible. We've done a lot of different things to bring these guys really close. And then I had 3 of my 5 captains coming back from last year, Baron Morton, Jacob Rodriguez, and Bryce Ramirez. And I told them, I said, guys, you guys have got to do a phenomenal job of bringing these guys and getting them to understand what Lubbock's all about, and then getting them to understand what we're all about. One thing that we're all about is we're consistent. We're the same way every single day. There's nothing that ever changes, whether it's highs or lows or whatever. You're going to get the same people every day. And whenever our guys that we brought in saw that, they really appreciated it and bought into the things that we wanted to do. I've coached, this is my 31st year as a coach, and this is the closest team I've ever been around.
And you mentioned this week about who wants to be the toughest team, and that's going to be really important. Neither team here has trailed this season, but both you and Utah have played pretty much from the lead the entire year. Now you're going on the road to a place that can be a pretty salty environment. Like you mentioned the toughest. Is that something that the kids just have in them, or is that something that you and your staff are able to get out of them?
It's a mixture. I mean, I think we've recruited some really tough kids, and this place out here is kind of known as we kind of hang our hat on West Texas tough. And then I think we've got a great strength staff. We brought in a group called the Program. It's a military group. We try to find ways every single day to embrace the pressure and put your foot on the line and compete. And so that's kind of who we feel like we are. I know that's who Utah is. Kyle is one of the best in the country at creating a physically tough team. So I really think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's the best game on Saturday, but without a doubt, it's going to be the best game on Saturday.
Oh, that's why our pregame show is headed out there. That's why Joel and Gus and Jenny will be on the call. It's one of 3 ranked matchups, but I think certainly in terms of the stakes of it and who's going to take the lead in the Big 12 and kind of put the 1 foot closer to a berth in the Big 12 championship game, it's certainly that. And you mentioned Kyle and Utah, like what their program has been about, running the ball, physicality up front. Like last year, like it seemed like something was missing. Certainly with the injuries that they had to Cam Rising at the quarterback position. Bringing in Dampier from New Mexico, what are some of the challenges that he poses to you and your defense?
Man, I compare him to Kyler Murray a little bit, and I feel like I'm pretty much an expert. I played him 2 times whenever he was in high school, played him 1 time whenever he was at OU. I've known him since he was in middle school, and they remind me running the football. I used to call him Houdini because he would be one place, you thought you were going to hit him, and then he ended up somewhere else. And Dampier's a lot like that. I mean, he's a really physical kid, 210 pounds. He's got great vision. And, man, as soon as you think you got him, he makes a move on you. And then he throws so well on the run. So we've got to do a good job. The guys that are in coverage, they got to stay in coverage. They got to keep their eyes where they need to be. And then the guys that are responsible for the run fits, they've got to fit and they've got to tackle.
It's fine. I'm going to go back to something you said a couple of minutes ago about like that West Texas tough and having been to Lubbock a couple of times and just seeing your team and watching Coach McCaslin's team from afar. Do you guys kind of interact and talk about different ways to get your teams to respond? Because it seems like both your team and the basketball team kind of have that same mold and build and makeup around them.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I was on the interview committee whenever we hired him. He came during camp and spoke to the team. I've spent a lot of time, whether it's texting or calling him for advice and some of the stuff we're going to do on the road as far as like tightening our huddles up and understanding that whoever gets on the plane, that's all we got. It's not like at home where you got your full roster and 60,000 plus Texas Tech fans, yelling for you. And so Grant is a good friend of mine, and he's been really good helping me along this way, over the last couple of years.
And I'm just going to add a personal interjection here. That hurt this year in March in the Elite Eight. That was, as someone who was very high on Texas Tech making a Final Four and a national championship run, I was gutted to see the ending of that game. But I'm pretty sure that they'll be back this year.
Yeah, trust me, I was right there with you, brother.
Yeah. So the next time I go to Lubbock, I need some advice. I remember the first time I was in Lubbock for the greatest night probably in city history with Michael Crabtree catch when they beat Texas. Coach Knight had taken myself and some of the game day crew out to this unbelievable Tex-Mex hole-in-the-wall type restaurant. And I cannot remember the name of it, so I need a place to go and make the Bear happy next time he heads out to Lubbock. What restaurant should we hit up?
I'll have you set up at Las Brisas. It'll be the best steak you've ever had in your life. So I'll have you set, man. I'll take care of you.
Well, hopefully we can make that happen at some point this year. But any a nice little medium rare, it sounds pretty damn good. Coach, appreciate you taking the time on a busy week. We look forward to seeing you in Salt Lake this week. Watch your team in what is certainly the biggest game of the week. Good luck.
You got it. Thank you, man. Wreck 'em.
Want to thank Coach for joining us. Should be a great game, Bear. 12 Eastern, 10 local time for big new kickoff between Utah and Texas Tech. There are a lot of other games this weekend that we're going to get to. We're going to start with Auburn at Oklahoma. That number now is 7, and the total is 47.5 here, Bear. You love a side in this game.
Yeah, I like at the full 7 now. I like Auburn a whole lot. I think this is a team that is already battle tested, having gone on the road and won at Waco, won in a tough environment. I think Jackson Arnold will have that little extra motivation this week to go back to Norman and potentially beat his old team. And I think with the wide receivers they have and the running game that they have, they're going to give Oklahoma some problems. Like, this is not going to be like Oklahoma being able to dominate Bryce Underwood, a true freshman, at home and just run Mateer 90 times. Like, they're going to have to be a little bit better offensively and get some other contributions from Ott and other people in that running game. But especially at that full 7, you can.
There we go.
War Damn Eagle, baby.
Let's go.
WDE.
5 chips out of 8. Okay.
Is that? I just grabbed.
We have to save some for our next game. Don't worry. They're all going on the table.
I like Oklahoma to win. I'm wedging Oklahoma and Miami into a money line parlay. DraftKings letting you do that at -115 this week. I think Oklahoma's going to win. I think Miami's going to win, but I do think you're going to see this push from the public to lay the points with both of these favorites. I know we'll talk about Miami and Florida later on in the show, but I know the books are going to need Auburn. They're definitely going to need the dog.
Here's my concern about Oklahoma in this game is just how much John Mateer can your offense be? You know, their offensive line right now, if you look at like their yards per rush, taking out the sacks, they're 102nd in the country right now. Like, they're just not running the football very well. They're struggling inside, picking up twists and stunts. And yeah, John Mateer is great. I have a Heisman ticket on him. We talked about him all year. But how much can he be your offense against a team like Auburn? Can they force you to have to pass the ball all the time? And that obviously leaves safeties back and opportunities for errors and mistakes to be made. And I think just Oklahoma feels like maybe just that does concern me a little bit about Oklahoma's offensive structure as we get into this game. All right, do you want to save time ahead to the next one?
There's actually a pretty good note too about Brent Venables as a coach in conference games. By the way, in terms of their lack of doing anything good. Brent Venables conference play, 11-8 straight up, 8-11 is a favorite. And if you narrow down to games in which his teams have been favored by single digits, 2-7, both straight up in ATS. So OU is a favorite in conference games. It's not exactly been a profitable angle for those back.
Yeah, at 7, I think it's Auburn or nothing in this game. Let's get to the next game here. Illinois at Indiana.
Oh, boy.
Indiana favored by 6. Total of 52.
Why don't you take this one? Go ahead, big guy.
I'm waiting for the screen to pop up here. So we can
all for you.
How do I?
They are betting.
There we go. All of them.
Indiana.
All of them.
All of Indiana.
All of them.
They're betting Indiana like they have Sunday's paper. This line was 3.5 on Monday, and now it's 6.
I don't get, like, no one has been as skeptical of Illinois as I have been.
Yeah.
I have.
Other than this table right here, no one nationally has been as skeptical as Indiana or Illinois rather as we have. But even I think like this move out to 6.5 in some places, it seems a little bit too far. Like look, I know Illinois, their offensive line struggled at Duke, but do we know that Indiana's actually any good? I mean, it was 21-9 with Kennesaw State a couple of weeks ago before they poured it on in the fourth quarter. Like, I think push comes to shove, I think this game reminds me a lot of that Nebraska game early last year. Remember when Nebraska went in there as a dog and everyone's like, oh, Indiana hasn't played anybody, and Indiana just blew the doors out of Nebraska? Yeah. Like, it feels a little bit like that, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois went in there and won.
Here's my concern for Illinois is that you're on the road, and last year against ranked teams on the road, you were not as good. As we know, Penn State and Oregon, your offense just didn't show up. Now you don't have the wide receivers you had in those games. That concerns me. And the offensive line, Bear, look, we talk about returning production. All 5 guys are back. PFF ranked them 89th so far in pass protection. It's not like they played the murderer's row. No. They're 96th in pressure rate. That's Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan. They get stuffed a lot on runs, which makes no sense to me. I think Indiana's better. I know they haven't played anyone, but it is important to note that when you don't play anyone and you win 77-0, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win those games that way. I think just are better prepared. I think they're a better team. They're at home. So I'm backing Indiana here. And I'm prepared to be wrong, Sammy, and have Illinois fans yell at me. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it.
It's okay. They'll take it out on Bear at Big Noon Kickoff next weekend.
Exactly.
You'll take all the flack.
Now time for Super 6 presented by DraftKings. Bear, we will both have columns breaking it down later in the week, but one of the questions will be, what will be the outcome of the Texas Tech at Utah game, the big new kickoff game, 10 Central kickoff for you, Bear. What's call time for you on that one?
So the show will be on at 8 local, which is good. So we'll be there at 6.
Do you have a favorite like food spot in Salt Lake City? You've been
the place that Rick Majera sent us to, the first place called the Valters Soteria, is a great Italian place. So that's a spot. And I've also been tipped off. By the way, George Reitster says hello. By the way, I did his show the other day, and he said Red Iguana.
Yeah, Red Iguana
is a really good place. So I could see a little maybe Red Iguana once, and then Walters one other time.
Just make sure you get your bets in before you go to Utah.
Oh, I've already downloaded my DraftKings my boosts and everything. I get everything in on those apps before I take off from Newark.
He would say Utah's not a fun state. No gambling, no drinking.
Utah's a bad state.
No knife fights, none of that in Utah.
Bear, when you download those promo bets, those promos, will you be making a wager on any team to win the money line in this game?
I'm having a hard time with this one. I think it's a high scoring game. You've got two teams. Obviously, strength of schedule so far has been less than ideal, but neither team has trailed. Neither of the opponents have had an answer for them. It's a lot of points. 57.5 is the over under, but I could see this being one of those games, 42-35 type of deal, because I do think there's a chance that Dampier maybe just runs around and it's a higher scoring game. But I'm sorry, I don't have anything else really solidify on this game. I'm just looking forward to it because I guess the play. I mean, if you like one of these teams moving forward, take the long road on them. Like if you think Texas Tech or Utah is going to win the Big 12, you play it now because the win here, obviously, if it's Texas Tech, you bank a great road win. And if it's Utah, you bank one of your tougher games of the year. So it's probably like bet one of those teams long-term Big 12 championship than it would be for me to actually just bet this game.
To see a Utah total open at 55.5, you just are fundamentally inclined to think, whoa, that's way too high. And then you look at it now and it's 57.5, and I don't think we're done yet. I make the total 61.
Okay, so
still I'm with room. You. Yeah, at 57, wink, wink. Maybe I got involved. At 57.5, yes, I still like it. These two quarterbacks are awesome, and I'm kicking myself. The one guy I was going to bet along with Beck in the summer, I couldn't push submit. I was hovering. You know when you hover on the app, you can't get the thumb down?
Yep.
Baron Morton, 250 to 1 Heisman.
Did
not do it.
The old Herm Edwards, don't press send. Don't press send.
I wish I did because DraftKings has him now at 25 to 1, Jeff.
When was the last time, I'm looking at the Utah schedule to have an answer for this, like they lost a home game, like a big home game when they had a competent quarterback? It's been a long time. Like this is a spot where they win a majority of these games. It's a very tough place to play. As you know, it's loud. It's going to be early. I get it, but their crowd is not a liquored up crowd, as we know. So like they'll be ready to play. They'll be ready to go.
We love the muss.
And I just, Texas Tech and their quarterback have played worse on the road. Now he's older now. He's less injured. They've started the year very well. So maybe all those concerns are gone now, but this is a very difficult environment to play in. Does Texas Tech have the overall offensive capacity if Utah says, okay, we're taking away your best thing. We're taking away the deep ball, which has been really good for them for so many weeks now. We're not letting you do that. Is the offense complete enough on the road to make that happen with the noise? But I think it's also fair to say Utah's offense, and I've covered them extensively for years. Unfortunately, we talk about this a lot. Like we have a good beat on Utah. Didn't help us last year very much, but the explosive play thing is real. They just don't have them still. You can make the argument that maybe they've been holding it back and certainly haven't had to use that very much, but they have to find a way to get downfield passing plays more routinely in the offense to win games like this, right? They've won these games in the past with a Cam Rising, right? Well, he threw the ball down the field. They had tight ends and wide receivers to make that happen. So to me, guys, a lot of this game comes down to either offense, right? Like what's going to break first? What's going to happen that we don't see happening? And look, Dampier's incredible. And the Utah's build an offense around it, but they still, I think, have to include some of those pass plays.
Yeah, I think speaking of pass plays, a lot of pass plays have not been successful for the University of Florida so far this year. The tally now for DJ Lagway now is 13 games against FBS opponents, 11 touchdowns, 15 interceptions after that 5-pick effort last week in Baton Rouge, where look, Florida played well enough to win that game. Defensively, they played great. LSU couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
They had the 1 pick six. They scored 1 offensive touchdown. So like the Gators played well enough to win that game, but Lagway keeps turning the ball over, and they have injuries at wide receiver. They have injuries on defense now. Banks is out. There are rumblings about Tariq Sapp being hurt as well. So this could be a really shorthanded Florida team. And Sammy, this game makes me nervous as hell because the Gators have 1 foot over the grave and just they need a little nudge, and their season's going to be over at 1-3. And then you worry about, like, there was all this talk about DJ Lagway needing shoulder surgery. Like if they lose, they're 1-3. Does he shut it down to avoid putting more bad tape on?
I think he's gonna. I think if they lose this game, he's gonna redshirt and transfer.
It's like the last gasp deal for Florida to kind of save their season. But
why would it be any different than other games?
That's the thing though. Like that's the only thing that is concerning. All this off the field stuff, all like the intangibles is like what I'm like on the field. Miami should win this game by 17 points at least because they are so dominant on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Carson Beck is a freaking assassin who he threw 5 incompletions last week. 1 was a tipped ball that should have been caught interception. Another was hit as you throw interception. Outside of that, he was nearly perfect. Like they have been so great, dominant, taking care of business so far. I know the Notre Dame game was close and they late score to win, but they have just looked the part. And I think it's going to be like remember the Washington game 2001 at the old Orange Bowl where it was like an insane asylum. Like the crowd was just amped up because of what happened at Washington the previous year when Dorsey's first road start they lost. It was the most bloodthirsty Orange Bowl atmosphere I've seen. I think it's going to be like an insane asylum. Insane asylum. Let me get it out. I can't get Hard Rock on Saturday night. It's going to be wild. Electric juice is going to be pumping through that stadium. I don't see any way Florida scores more than 21 points in the game. Like maybe their defense keeps them hanging around for a little while, but under Florida, 21.5 team totals. My play here, just in case that defense does do a good enough job like they did against LSU last week, even though Miami's running game is far better.
It is funny how this racket works, though. I'm about as big of a Miami fan as you can find this year in different ways. Make the playoff, back to win the Heisman. And I've talked about Miami twice on the show, against Notre Dame, against USF. So it's been very good. Yep. I find myself staying far away from this game. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Sharp support again on Florida. Look, Sharps decked Florida last week.
How'd that
go? They lose by 10 with 5 picks. I mean, they were in the game. Yep. I'm not saying it was a good bet, but those same Sharps are betting Florida in this spot. And I don't know, because you know that Mario wants to just bludgeon these guys.
That's the thing, right?
For recruiting.
So like, imagine you're sitting there with like a Florida +7 ticket and Miami's up late. They're going to try to score again. Like they're going to just continue.
Like they did against USF last week.
Like they're going to continue to score and score and score.
And he's heard nothing but he can't win the big one. He can't coach. All he can do is recruit. He's heard it for years, not only in Miami, but at Oregon.
By the way,
it feels personal for them.
These players there's a connection this season they haven't had in 4 years. And everyone believes they're this good, which is important, I think, to have that confidence. So the vibes from Miami are so high right now that look, in the past, we've joked about like Mario games. I've seen them at Oregon, but his team is so good right now that it's hard to have those games when you have, like, how do you tell your defensive line, not really tell them, but the defensive line is so good right now, they're not going to have down moments. Like, they're just not going to play down the competition. His teams are that good at the moment that, to me, that's not a problem of theirs. Now, of course, Lagway could play better in this game, I guess. I don't know why he would, and it stays close for a while, but I would hate to have a Florida ticket and Miami to punch in a late one.
You mentioned recruiting. I saw someone, one of the recruiting services, tweeted out something earlier in the week, like 5 of the top 15 wide receivers in the country are in town on a Miami recruiting visit this week. It's like something ridiculous like that. So they have it. They have it going right now on the recruiting front. It's funny, Sammy, you mentioned all of like the sharps and the money moving this number again. And last week they were on Florida. Like last week when we talked about this, like was it an overreaction or a market correction with Tennessee? Everyone bet Tennessee last week. They should have won the game outright. Everyone bet Georgia Tech last week, won the game outright. Like now you see Clemson hosting Syracuse this week, the team that lost to Georgia Tech last week, 17-point favorite. Dabo kind of had a little bit of an eruption this week when talking about you want to get rid of me, fine, get ready. I'm going to go somewhere else and coach.
He couldn't wait to make that. That was ready to go. He couldn't wait for the question, like some question, just to tell everyone to go F themselves essentially.
Like this feels like name your number here, doesn't it?
Clemson loves to take care of wounded animals. Let's put it that way. And leave no doubt. How many times have we seen Dabo in the third, fourth quarter against a team down 28 still push it? Because they've heard nothing but cooked for weeks now. I laid 17, and I hate it. Let me slide a couple chips over. Oh, wrong side.
Wrong side.
Well, see, I saw Clemson.
You saw
minus
Clemson,
17.
exactly, yeah.
All right, let me.
You're good.
It's all right.
You
know what I'm doing.
We know what you're doing. We know you are.
I'm reading upside down, Bear.
Exactly.
And they're both orange.
I was going to say, I can't read it.
There we go. There we go. Oh, there we go.
38.
Oh no.
Boy.
Oh no.
There goes the board.
There goes the set.
There we go.
There goes the set.
There we
All
go.
right.
My fault.
Well,
I hope this makes the cut.
Well, we're on Clemson.
Should.
Sammy's on Clemson.
I like Clemson. I laid 17.
Jeff.
What?
Clemson. No, there's no Z.
Clemson.
Damn you. Clemson.
He didn't
Clemson.
correct Big Cat on TV.
He didn't, though.
No.
He likes Big
I
Cat
like
more.
Big Cat
saw
more
that.
than you,
I saw
so
that.
it's
Yes,
okay.
that's very clear. I have nothing in this game other than, I mean, the meltdown Dabo had. He was waiting for that moment to basically tell everyone to go screw themselves, and I'm running the program my way, and I'm doing it the right way. I'm just, again, I'm sort of hardened to the fact of like the returning production thing might be something we have to get over previewing teams from now on, because this should have been better. They should have started better. Maybe there's a staleness to returning everyone in college football, but the offense hasn't been as good. They haven't played as well, haven't executed quite as well. A team that's executed very well is Oregon. I don't want to piss off the one person who doesn't like us talking about Oregon too much, but Oregon does host Oregon State this weekend.
What do you mean?
And it is the back to Civil War, though. That's actually the best.
Who's pissed off that we talk about Oregon?
1, 2, 3, 4 reviewer on iTunes. I don't know who that is.
We got a 1-star on Apple because we talk about Oregon too much.
Oregon too much.
You're on to me, huh?
The number 2 team in the country.
1 star is harsh.
Sixth in the country. Whatever
Team that was undefeated last year and the
Yeah.
number 1 seed going to the college football playoff. That team.
Sing the fight song.
I will do that. If we beat Penn State, I'll come on and sing the fight song for you guys. Is there a way to wager on a game for just like the first 40 minutes? Like, can I do that?
We can
like,
do it for the first 30.
I know, because it's very simple in this game. Oregon's going to play till they decide it's done, and then they're going to take everyone out of the game because they have Penn State next week. So
Oregon State's bad.
They're very bad.
They're really bad.
35.5, like in a rivalry game like this, and with knowing it's a look-ahead spot, knowing that Oregon's going to pull their starters out at some point in this game, this number is still 35.5.
And you probably don't have Decoria Moore. There were reports this week that he suffered a hip pointer practice. So I would think
fine, but not going to play.
Yeah. There is no need to have him play this week.
That said, I was sweating under 49 last week in Evanston. It was a great bet. It was a dead under, and Lanning's got the 2s throwing 30-yard passes down the field. So his 2s are still trying to kill you. So I don't think there's this hesitancy up 21-0 to like just go to the locker room and run the ball in the third, fourth
I'm more concerned like it's 42-0 and they pull everyone. Like last week they ended up with the last.
I had Northwestern team total under 7.5 live.
The last two drives of that game against Northwestern, I had to go on. I was in the crowd at that game, as we know. I had to go on the roster and look up who the guys were playing in the secondary. Like we were like on walk-ons
on Oregon side.
On Oregon side, the end of that game. So, and look, Oregon State will probably play their starters the entire game, score some points at the end. No, but just to feel good about yourself. Like I know people think it's funny when a team kicks a field goal down 31-0, but it's to feel good about some points. Like you feel good about something happening. I can see Oregon State just doing that. No Civil War next year, by the way, which is
terrible.
It'd be back in 27, I think.
Oregon first half seems like the bet, though.
It does seem like the bet, and also because they ended poorly against Northwestern, they'll be fired up.
And Lanning, you could see it on his face and what he said on the field. in the post-game interview with Jenny Taft last week. He was like, it was the first thing he said was like, yeah, we need to do a better job playing 60 minutes or fitting. He was clearly unhappy that they allowed 14 fourth quarter points.
Yes. So that's my take on that game. As we head to the Big Ten now, Michigan.
What do you mean? Oregon's in the Big Ten?
This is a big Oregon State's not in the Big Ten. This is Nebraska. Michigan's a Big
Any
Ten
Apple
game.
Cup play while we're at it with the Pac-12 rivalry weeks?
So this is interesting. I looked at Washington's team total over, and I looked at them covering that game because Wazoo was really bad against North Texas, but they weren't as bad in week 2. Like I stayed away essentially.
Focus.
So
Michigan, Nebraska.
I stayed away, Bear, on the Apple Cup game.
I am focused. Rivalry is like the 1 week a year where we get to talk about the old traditional Pac-12 rivalry. I love that they're both being played the same.
And Washington's hosting. They just turned the ball over 5 times. Washington's off a bye. I'm staying away.
And Washington has Ohio State coming in next week too.
And so I'm staying away. All right, a game between 2 Big Ten foes, Bear, Michigan and Nebraska here. I'll talk about this later, but I like the under in this game. I just don't buy Nebraska's offense still with Raiola. There's still something in my opinion. Look, they beat up 2 bad teams, but the one sort of game that they played against anyone good, it wasn't as pretty as I thought it would be. Michigan's defense, I think, is fine. Nebraska's offensive line I have worries about. Michigan's offensive line I have worries about. Underwood on the road again. So I just think it's just a very ugly game, Sammy.
I want to take the dog, but I am staying far away.
Have fun with that.
I'm out. No, I'm not doing it. I found myself on another Big Ten dog, which we'll talk about next. But you realize that these lines are just off the 3, both Michigan and Iowa. They just want you to come in, lay the 2.5, and just think you're going to get home.
Yeah.
And look, Underwood's special. He's a very, very good player.
Yes.
He's young. He's inexperienced. But I'm not there. I wanted to get there. Nebraska made my short list, and then I crossed them out. I did.
What do you have for a Michigan team total? Has anybody seen that?
I could find a few right now.
That's how I think I'm going to play this game, because I think you're going to get a similar type deal on the road against a real team. Look, Oklahoma's defense, I think, is better than Nebraska's, but seeing them in that atmosphere on the road with a true freshman quarterback, look, they don't have a difference maker at wide receiver right now.
23.5.
Michigan's team total is 23.5.
Total's 45.
There's your play right there.
It does feel pretty high.
There's your play right there. Like how are they getting there?
Nebraska,
they had one run again with Justice Haynes.
Nebraska's run defense has struggled a little bit this season, and that's basically they just again try to bludgeon them to death essentially. And again, but that shortens the game up too, right? And that means the thing about bludgeoning teams is that in college football, explosive plays are so important because it's hard to have 10, 12 play drives. I mean, we saw it with Northwestern last week, Bear. Like, they tried to have these long drives. Eventually, you throw an interception. Something dumb, a penalty happens. And so you can't do that against better teams because that, asking 18 to 22-year-olds to have 12 good plays in a row is hard. And so to your point, like, can Michigan, even Nebraska's run defense isn't great, can they do enough to score all those points? I would lean to you here, Bear, and say I think Michigan goes under their team total.
Yeah, I'm like Sammy here. Like, I want to get to the dog, but these are the games that you see Nebraska, whether it's been Scott Frost, Bill Callahan, Mike Riley, Bo Pelini, even Matt Rule a couple of times. Like, they special teams debacle, turn it over. Like, they find ways to lose these games against ranked opponents. And we talked about how they haven't won one against the ranked team. It's in 8-9 years. So it's like, until they do it, like, if they do it, great.
Just
but
watch
it won't be.
I think you just watch this game and have fun. One game that Sam and I are going to be watching Friday night.
Oh yeah,
is Iowa at Rutgers. Iowa's a 2.5-point favorite. Rutgers 3-0 here. Total is 46.5. I got 3. I know you got 3. It's 2.5 right now. This is a prime spot in my opinion for Rutgers here. But more than anything else, it's just a straight fade of Iowa's offense still, guys. Their quarterback's completing 58% of passes. Again, that's against what Albany, Iowa State, and UMass was the 3 opponents so far. 8.3 yards per completion. That's not yards per attempt. Like, it's not air yards is 124th in the country. Iowa's rushing offense has been okay. They played no one. Iowa's explosive play rate 135th in the country. Like, they're just not good in offense. Now they're on the road. Big Friday night game. Rutgers offense this year has been much better. Is their quarterbacks in year 2 of this offense, Sammy? I'm all on Rutgers in this spot. I love him here.
Give me 3 chips on the Scarlet Knights.
Here we go.
And yes, I did take 3 earlier in the week, 2.5 now. Obviously don't love it as much. This game's going to be ugly. You're going to see punts before points, I would think. But I think Sunj gets it done, Bear.
Sunj hasn't trailed yet this year. So we'll see if they find
8 p.m. on Fox, too. So I thought it was going to be like a 9 o'clock Big Ten Network game. It's 8 on Fox. So this is perfect time.
So this will be on during dinner in Salt Lake on Friday. It'll be great.
on during dinner, I guess, dessert, Schwartz household. Yeah. It'll be, hey, hon, I'm not going to watch your show tonight. I'm going to go in the other room and watch Iowa.
What are you cooking? What are you cooking? What are you cooking up for dinner?
Okay, so my family's out of town again this weekend for the 100th
Oh,
time.
you look distraught.
They're going to see Savannah Bananas again. We basically just owe them all our money now. So I'm on my own all weekend. Me and the dog.
Beautiful.
All weekend. I have not made my menu yet, Bear. One thing I've been doing, so I like ordering Chinese food. I don't know. I think we all like that sometimes.
Correct.
And so I've been learning how to make the dishes myself.
Really?
Yes, I just go online. I find the recipe. I bought all like the wines and the soy sauces and all the things and the fish sauce and the oyster sauce, all this stuff. Like I've been making it myself. So I'm going to continue probably that this process this weekend.
Have you done shrimp with lobster sauce?
No, I haven't made that one yet. I probably can, but I haven't made that one yet.
See,
I've been doing like the beef chow fun, like some of like the noodle dishes first, and then I'm working my way down the list of like things I want to make. So I'm gonna do that this weekend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to just like watching football by myself all week. My kids aren't back till Tuesday.
So you threw the kids out all summer at camp.
I did,
Now the kids are out again.
They're with my wife at least in this one. I'm not going to Seattle to watch the Bananas play from Charlotte. That feels like
Wait, whoa. They're going to Seattle from Charlotte.
So they've been to, I don't want to make this an ad about Savannah Bananas, but they love going to a game. They've been to Atlanta, Clemson, Savannah, Richmond, Charlotte.
That's all
Yankee Stadium. They were here last weekend, Yankee Stadium for the see Bananas. What happened was that you enter a lottery, right, Bear? And you just get, like, they have the face, like, they're $50, like, whatever it is. You enter the lottery. They got all these tickets for all these games, her and her cousin. And they just decided, like, we're going to go. So we use a bunch of miles, and they're using this, like, they're going to go visit Seattle and, like, do the throwing the fish and all the things you can do in Seattle and
go check out St. Seahawks on Sunday.
I don't think they're doing that. Maybe is Cal Raleigh at home the MVP? Is he?
That's actually see. I think Raleigh is live. By the way, like a lot of people,
I thought he was live when Aaron Judge got hurt.
Like the price on him to win MVP right now is still like plus 455 to like they win the division. I think he's super. So like putting the college football hook into that. Like if you like some of these. Like Clemson money line, Miami money line, whatever. Like throw a little Cal Raleigh AL MVP in there at like plus
half
450
game back
or
right
one.
now.
Like
half game back.
Like I think he's good story, ridiculous nickname, big dumper. Like I think it.
But what's his WOBA and his OPS
exactly
plus and his WAR?
That's Sammy and his nerds.
That is Sammy and his nerds.
I don't think he's beating Judge for the record.
Really? Even if they win the division?
Judge is so much better.
Well, yeah,
I agree.
But it's not about sometimes being better. It's about sometimes they vote on the story, and Judge is going to win the MVP many years in a row.
I wish Raleigh would win it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any other?
I got some things. I got some things for you.
I'm throwing it to you. Go ahead.
I used to like to play a little game called Would You Rather.
Okay.
So I got some Would You Rather for you guys.
Let's go.
Number one, Would You Rather?
Yes.
Would you rather lay 6.5 with UCF against Bill Belichick in North Carolina, or would you rather lay 5.5 with UTEP against UL Monroe?
I couldn't even tell you one player in the second game.
Does it matter?
At all.
Probably UTEP, I think.
North Carolina's played better recently, right? They've showed themselves a little bit better as Belichick's got more comfortable there.
Like what does that say about the respect for North Carolina that the worst team in the Big 12 is a 6.5 point favorite over them?
Yeah, that's what jeez.
I like the under in that game, 47.5. Fancher's not good.
I was going to say there's some bad quarterback play there.
I like the under.
Would you rather number two?
Okay.
Would you rather lay 2.5 with UL Lafayette against Eastern Michigan?
Okay.
UL Lafayette, I don't know if you caught their offense last week against Missouri. It's not really very good.
Okay.
Or would you rather lay 2.5 with UNLV, who nearly lost to Idaho State, on the road against Miami of Ohio?
UNLV.
Can I pass?
The name of the segment is "Would You Rather." You've got to give me one.
UNLV. They're off a bye, aren't they?
They're off a bye. Yes.
Yeah.
Opening game was the Idaho State.
Yeah, and they beat the Bruins.
And they beat the Bruins and they beat someone else. Sam Houston State.
I'd much rather take UNLV in this spot.
I guess, sure.
We know what they can do, and I'll take them. The UCLA job is a Bruin. My parents are Bruin alums. That job feels like it can be good, but there's just so much work to be done there. I don't know who's going to take that job.
Pat Fitzgerald's an interesting name.
He's an interesting name, yes.
Because you can hire him now because he's not doing anything, and you can hire him on the cheap because he's getting all this money now from the Northwestern settlement because of that. So
I like Ryan Silverfield too from Memphis.
Yeah, that type of guy
would
feels
be awesome,
like
yeah.
one
Would
of
you
those.
rather have the UCLA job or Vaught Tech job?
UCLA because you're living in LA. You're supposed to.
In Manhattan Beach, you just live like
and there's actually money there. There's history. There's something there.
Yeah. The Wasserman family needs to step up a little bit, even more, I think. They have a lot of money, but geez, they need some more for that.
I got one more for you.
Oh,
I have a would you rather too, but you first.
Would you rather take Kent State plus 45.5 against Florida State?
Nope.
Or Sam Houston State plus 39.5 against Texas?
Sam Houston State.
Eventually, Texas is going to crack somebody.
No, dude, the Arch thing, it's a problem. Like, he's not playing well.
I think it's between
right now. He's not playing, like, his foot, like, just from a basics perspective, his footwork is bad. He's not seeing the field well. I mean, Sark's getting guys open for him. And you're right, Sammy. It just probably would take but I thought when they finally forced some turnovers against San Jose State, and they started playing they had that kind of 4-minute stretch. They scored like 28 points in 4 minutes, and they did nothing. Like, I thought that was sort of the breaking point of that offense. And then you had the under that game, and I think the Arch thing is a real problem right now. And again, it can be fixed, sort of flip the switch, but the footwork, like, the things are bad. The fundamentals are bad right now.
Yeah, I think there's a case of kind of the yips and uncertainty right now because of the injury. Like, look, Sark can say what he wants, and that's fine. I mean, but from everything that I heard,
can you wager on Kent State to score negative points?
No, cannot do that.
Like under, do they get 100 yards on offense in this game?
Probably not.
Yeah, they will. They will.
What about 100?
Florida State has a spooky Friday night trip to Charlottesville next week.
What about 100 yards through 3 quarters?
That's a better bet. That's
you just changed everything.
Yeah,
changed everything.
Yeah, see, first you want to bet on Oregon in a 40-minute bet, and now you want a 3-quarter bet.
I'm going to take Oregon State plus
State.
I'm going to take Oregon State like plus 52 when Oregon gets up 45-0.
Sammy, you had something for us.
Would you rather have all your belongings on the train from Boston to New York, or would you rather forget your wallet at home and have Jeff need to check you into your hotel?
Oh, I would much rather forget my belongings since I could go out and buy them. So what there's a reason you're asking.
I get a call.
This hypothetically might have happened.
It happened last night.
I get a call last night from Sammy. He goes, "Hey man, I left my wallet in Boston." I was like, "How'd you get on the train?" He goes, "Well, I have my just digital ticket,
Amtrak app."
And so I said, he's like, I'm like, "What do you need help with? Do you need me buy you a room? I'll get you a room, whatever." And he goes, No. I'm calling the hotel. I mean, the third party to put your name on the thing. You come check me in. I was like, okay, sure. My favorite part though was that Sammy was walking here, I think, to maybe sleep.
I would have slept here. I would have slept in the studio under the table.
It's been done before.
I booked the room though, and my wallet is on my desk at home. And then I get on the train with everything but my wallet. So when I arrived, the woman at the front desk says, "How can I help you?" And I said, "I did a bad thing. Forgot my wallet." And she said, "Oh, there's nothing we can do, honey. I'm so sorry."
There's something you can do.
So then I had to call the third party to add Jeff Schwartz to the reservation. And then he had to show his ID and his credit card. But the third party spelled his first name wrong. Yes. So they were looking for Goff Schwartz.
How do you do that?
So then,
how do you look at that and say that's not Jeff?
They wouldn't let us check in because he was Jeff, not Goff. We got it figured out, but then they told me don't leave the room because if you get locked out, you can't get back in. You don't have your ID.
I have to come back.
Yes.
So I wouldn't give you 2 keys.
No, they did.
But if I were to leave the room and get locked out,
Okay, all
I
right.
would need Jeff
Yeah.
to get out of his slumber to let me back in. So,
Yeah.
moral of the story: if you're getting on a train, don't forget your wallet.
That's pretty good. You know what? Yeah, that's
There's-
It's very bad.
yeah.
Thank you,
I don't know how you get GO. I mean, they just clearly forgot to.
buddy, I've gotten G off still once. I get once a week still. It's not. It is what it is, I guess.
I'm going to make Sully mad here. Sully gets mad when we throw things into the pod that he's not ready for.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
we just talk about random stuff, but he might be okay with this. I got a good Tennessee note for him here.
okay.
In the 4 years under Josh Heupel that the Vols have lost to Georgia, the following week outscored their opponents 230-62, and the 2 games against non-SEC teams have been 60-14 and 56-0. So UAB might be in for a for a beatdown this week.
Okay.
And then I had one more here too. I think that I wanted to throw out there as a good. How about Vandy? Vandy could be 5-0 when they go to Tuscaloosa. And a little bit of revenge. Vandy's been like 5-0. They got Georgia State, Utah State. They're going to be massive favorites in both of those games. So they've been 5-0 like twice in the last like 90 years.
It makes a lot
I
of
can't
sense.
believe I bet Virginia Tech against them as a. Oh, I hate myself for that. And then that was another game last week where they bet it like they knew the result of the game. They bet Vandy down against South Carolina, and Sellers got hurt, and Vandy won easy. Vandy might be pretty good.
I think South Carolina's in trouble this week. Trouble.
It could be. Still haven't heard anything definitive about Sellers. I believe Pete Thamel said that he was trending towards playing.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll see. We'll see
Oh,
if that pans out if he does play. But yeah, they Missouri might be one of those teams that really hasn't. Look, they came back from being down against Kansas in the fourth quarter, and we had Kansas and lost, but they might be pretty good despite having 2 games against absolute no one. So it could be a see, and those calls, like even last year during the season when Prbula was still at Penn State, there were calls like people like, yeah, they need to get packages involved for him. And that's wild. Could you imagine if they would have said to Prbula, you know, you're going to start next year, let Aller go NAL and go portal? Could you imagine that?
Mhm.
It'd be interested, but
All right, we're back on Bear Bets. Time to talk about our best bets. Before we do that, though, our 2-minute drill here. Got to talk about our favorite total of the week, Bear. Let's start off with you.
yeah, it's a team total in South Florida. Florida's team total under 21.5 is my favorite total of the week. This is just not a Florida offense that is going to move the ball very successfully against Miami. We saw that all week. Last week, DJ Lagway continues to turn the ball over. I don't think he's 100% healthy. I see a hard time for Florida scoring more than 21 points here in this game.
One thing I love about Bear this year, Sammy, is how all in he is on Miami. Because last couple of years, he's been very lukewarm on his team, and you could tell Bear knows they're really good because every week there's a Miami wager in some capacity on this show from Bear. Just like Oregon, as they've gotten better, I've tended to like give some more Oregon wagers. Bear, he's just be wearing like a Miami hat the entire show. He does it all the time.
We hear the same things, though, Bear,
Correct.
you and I, about the U. I came in here and danced with the
Yes,
U
you
up.
did. Week
Week
one,
number
exactly.
1
Yes,
came
we
in here
did.
and danced. I'm going to go to Mizzou. Here's a hot take for you. People want hot takes.
Mhm.
Bo Prbula is better than Drew Aller.
Yes.
And I understand that Franklin had to keep Aller because it's an upper-class team with an upper-class offense. This kid is legit. You can't stop their run, and then when you try to commit to the run, he just kills you over the top. 48.5 at DraftKings. I think Miami names its score this weekend.
Missouri names their score.
Missouri.
Missouri. Well, both.
I was going to say both. Yeah. While we're at it, both.
Missouri over. Sorry.
I like the under in Michigan at Nebraska here for a multitude of reasons, but one of them is I think both teams just are going to try to run the football, take the air out of the game. I don't really like either offensive line at the moment. I like the way the defenses are playing. I just think Bear and Sammy, we're going to see a grind. Just going to be like grinded out football, 2017, like just ugly as can be in this big thing. It's Nebraska's biggest home game in what?
I mean,
8 years since Oregon came.
I mean, the
8
thing
years
is,
ago.
I was going to say they have beaten a ranked team since then. I think it's like 30 straight losses against ranked teams. 27 straight games they've lost against ranked opponents since that 2016
I just think it's
win.
going to be pretty ugly game here. All right, moving to underdog, most likely win outright. Let's go Bear. I didn't expect this one, but here you go.
Well, you didn't expect Delaware last week either, and what happened there?
They won. I expected Delaware. That's a Bear
Well,
wager.
I'm just saying you don't expect to hear Delaware on.
Yeah, sure.
But that's what makes our show
great.
We like to go deep into the card.
Correct.
We give you the Blue Hens as a 10 point. How about that? It opened at like 10 and it closed at like 7. So
went out right.
we were
You giving that bet on Big Noon about to get blown into Lake Michigan was awesome.
I was gonna say Big Cat was very happy with
He
that
was
as well. But I'm gonna go with Kennesaw State against Arkansas State. They're anywhere between 5.5 point dog on the spread. On the actual number, but you can get them around 165 or so to win outright. Look, we mentioned with the Indiana game, Indiana played Kennesaw State. It was 21-9 midway through the third quarter. So a little bit of an overreaction, I think, with looking at 56-7. And Arkansas State, that was the perfect spot last week for them to play Iowa State close, coming off of the Cyhawk win. I think Kennesaw State has a really good chance to win this game outright.
How about some Friday fun, or Friday fung, as Ozzie Guillen used to say? Friday night, Piscataway.
Love this.
Suns.
SU.
Suns over Iowa.
Back on Suns.
Let's go, baby.
When we get to our best bets in a second, I think we're aligned here. Quickly for mine, I'm taking Memphis here at home against Arkansas. Very weird spot for Arkansas, going on the road to Memphis. Doesn't happen very often. SEC team going on the road like this. It's sort of sandwiched between the Ole Miss game and they host Notre Dame next week, and Memphis right now. Ryan Silverfield could use this win for his resume. Is maybe we're looking at other things right now there. All right, time to recap our wagers and talk about our best bets presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Bear, what do you got for best bets?
I got a bunch this week. My best bet is Duke laying the points against NC State. There's some threes out there as well, so I think it's a really good spot for Duke after giving away a couple of games, turnovers, missed field goals. NC State is kind of deceptively better than their record indicates. Syracuse, talked about that laying. If I can find some 17s, Miami, Florida team total under. Auburn, we talked about that as well. Kennesaw State, the dog to win outright. And then sneaky one, Miami of Ohio getting 2.5 at home against UNLV.
Big old card there. Big old card. Let me go Miami.
I like this card this week.
Oklahoma to win. So a Canes and a Sooners parlay. I'm going to lay it with Clemson. You can find a 17. Wink, wink. And then I'm going to go Rutgers. Best bet, Mizzou, -10.5.
Quickly for myself, as we run out of time here, we talked about Rutgers. I'm all in there. In on Indiana, best bet Notre Dame -25.5, hosting Purdue. Good bounce back spot for them. And hope the Irish can get that 4-touchdown win.
Yeah, Irish going to need a 4-touchdown win and 10 more wins probably to reach a college football playoff. So appreciate everybody for watching us on YouTube, for tuning in on FS1, Apple, Spotify, wherever else you podcast. Remember, less you bet, more you lose when you win.